Hello everybody, my name is Tim Alfredo and welcome to DESK Unplugged, a show that focuses on English language learning and education in Mozambique. That's what we do. We promote this language nationwide. Every Wednesdays we bring on different guests on the show, from professionals to students, parents, and just regular people to share their experience as to how they managed to learn English, what challenges they have encountered, and how they managed to celebrate success. Today, I'm privileged to invite Mr. Alfredo Fernando Mulei. He is also professionally known as Twizzy. Twizzy is a video maker, is a professional photographer, musician, and songwriter. Welcome to the show, Mr. Twizzy.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share the journey that I have taken on English learning.
That's beautiful. Twizzy, you learned English here in Mozambique, a country where we know that Portuguese is its official language. What sparked your interest? How did you all of a sudden become interested in learning English and decide to move on?
Well, my passion began on 2006 when I was younger, and by that time I used to watch movies, and I like Schwarzenegger. It was the one that I really do appreciate the way he used to act, you know, and I wanted to understand what it means in his movies. But what boosted me a lot, this is a little bit embarrassing, but let me share this. I had a girlfriend from South.
Wow.
And every December, she used to come. And it was very
From South Africa?
Yeah, she used to come from South to Maputo. Well, that was very, very hard to me to face her, to talk to. And but we were very interesting, you know, on having some conversation.
An affair? Or
Affection, I can say that. And it motivated me a lot to know more about it, you know, because I was in need to be understood by her.
Wow, that's impressive. You know, learning a language is actually usually not of an easy task, especially in a country or in an area where it is not widely spoken. What kind of challenges did you face, and did it come to a point where you felt like you wanted to give up?
Well, I cannot say that because I didn't, you know, every time we need to get a journey, we need to think about the costs.
Okay.
And I was lucky to have a friend who was a teacher, English teacher, and he invited me to join the class. You know, so once I joined the class, I started my journey, and once the class was over, like everybody left, and his friends were there, and every day we used to practice the English, you know. So it gives me a chance to go on. And when I left, when he left, he got to South, you know, looking for job, better life, and I had that started, you know, I started, and I have a notion of it. And by that time, I was studying in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a college, and I was lucky again to find someone who was English teacher as well, and I had another chance to find someone who could teach me, not wasting money. I mean, I cannot do that. Was not wasting, but not paying. And it opened the paths for me to go on this learning process.
Now, most people, when it comes to language learning, most people struggle with confidence. They are learning, they are in the process,
Yeah.
They might know, like a few things, a few words, a few expressions in English, but there is a gap, there is a void. They lack confidence, so they won't speak because they're embarrassed that somebody might laugh or somebody might just correct them. How did you manage to overcome that fear of being laughed at, of making mistakes?
Yeah. Well, I had friends around me, and we were all in the same process. Okay. So it was for us opportunity to learn from each other. I didn't have many friends like a lot of us used to have over this journey that we've been in when we go on learning English. So I didn't have that chances or that chances of being laughed, because my friends were also in the same process.
Okay.
So for me, it was easy, to express myself, because I used to speak with the guys that were in the same process. So for me, it wasn't hard to practice or to talk, So, and by that time, we used to have a list of English, words, daily words. So we used to practice that what was written there. So there was not any chance for us to speak what we do not know.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So you prepared your ground. You knew what you were doing, especially with that technique that you just mentioned of having some words.
Yeah.
Just coming up with.
Well, I think the problem should be the pronunciation, because that was the real deal. That was the problem.
That's where my next question comes in. Throughout this process, there are usually those challenges. Some of them has to do with accents, like you just said, pronunciation. And in some context, sometimes you come across slangs, words that we call like informal terms or vocabulary.
Yeah.
And those, sometimes they tend to create some sort of confusion because you hear it, let's say in the movies, in music, but when you pull them, like when you bring them to the real context and as you're reading, like, let's say, formal text, sometimes you don't find those words. Then you become confused.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you, get through that? Slangs, the different accents, pronunciation.
Well, that's a very big challenge. Even today, that's a very big challenge to deal with that.
Okay.
Because English is not my mother tongue.
Not even your first language, yes.
Yeah, it's not my first language. And when you are still in this process, because I cannot say that I'm okay in this language. I'm still in the process. And
do you ever use slangs when you speak?
Yeah, for sure.
I believe most of us do.
Yeah, that's true.
As as maybe they're not very, let's say, swear words or slurs and some other. Let's say, that's very good.
Good.
Well, so let's bring in our first segment, which is the etymology quest. Let's bring in the intro. Well, welcome back. Here we are having a lovely discussion with Twizzy. Mr. Twizzy, who is a professional photographer, a video maker, songwriter, and musician. Mr. Twizzy, we have this segment, which we call it the etymology quest.
Okay.
In this segment, we trace back some of the commonly used words in English, but they were borrowed from other, let's say, countries or nations and then adopted into the English language. So the idea here is just for you to guess. Some people might know, but most of us probably don't know. So we end up guessing. So I'm going to ask you 2 words, and I want to see if you can guess where these words
come from.
Okay, so the first one is salary.
Salary?
Yes. We all love salary, don't we? Salary.
Yeah, we also do. We also do. Well, to let you know where it comes from, these words.
Where do you think it comes from?
Well, I think this word comes from ancient word, where people used to work and got salt as their salary.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to explain. I got the idea of where this word comes from. They used because
And they got what? Sorry? Did you say salt?
yeah.
Okay.
And by that time, there was no money like we do have today. There was no coin. And I don't know coin exactly if they were F coins or, but salt was very important item in that time. You know, so when you go to work at the end of the month, you got that
Let's say payment or
that payment through
using salt.
Yes.
Did you sneak through my papers while I was not around?
No.
Because you seems to know. You seems to have gone through my notes.
Yeah.
So it comes from Latin. It's from Latin origin, and the word salary. In Latin, it means salarium, meaning salt money. That's what you said. In ancient Rome, soldiers were sometimes paid with salt or given money to buy it.
Okay.
As salt was highly valuable back then.
All right.
Wow, that's exceptional.
Yeah.
The next one is that's lemon.
Lemon.
Lemon, yeah. The juicy citrus fruit.
Okay.
Lemon.
Where it comes from?
Yeah.
From the fruit.
Okay, but like the country, the origin,
country.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's why I say you have to guess.
Okay. Maybe from England.
No, it's not from England.
It's not.
That's why I'm asking you the question, because I said they're used in English, but they're not originally from English origin.
Okay.
Basically. So they must have been imported from somewhere.
Okay.
These words. So I want to know, where does lemon, where did the English people get the word lemon? Where did they borrow from?
Hard to answer.
Yeah.
But
Just a guess?
Brazil.
No, not Brazil. One last chance.
One last chance. Maybe I would say Italy.
No. It comes from, it's a combination between Arabic and Persian. The word lemon and the name of the citrus fruit passed through Middle Eastern and Mediterranean languages before getting into the English word. So that's a combination between the Arabic and the Persian language.
Okay. No, it's very interesting.
Well, that was our segment in Etymology Quest, a segment that takes us back to some of the origins of English words. Well, moving on with our discussion, you are a talented filmmaker and
you.
also a photographer. Tell us, how has, your ability to speak English, has it provided some sort of opportunity in these areas?
Yes.
Have you benefited, like from knowing English in combination with these areas that you are professional in?
Yes, for sure. Well, the first thing that it brings to me as a gain is to deal with almost everybody that comes to Mozambique. I have made very good friends overseas, from South, and knowing English has opened doors for me. Okay, to have. I was once invited to South to make some show. Unfortunately, by that time, I hadn't passport, so I couldn't go.
So you were supposed to go and perform in South Africa?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was supposed to go and perform.
You missed the chance, man.
I missed the chance. I missed the chance because I didn't have passport.
Back then,
but I could see the importance of the language. And I used to write and sing in English, and some friends of mine take it to South, and some other people enjoy this music and message, and it gives me a chance, opportunity to be known and to be sharing my job So another gain I think I have on is to deal with with the other artists. Okay,
So like collaboration with other artists.
Yeah, but it is not exactly collaboration because I didn't have any from South or anywhere else. Okay, but I used to chat, we used to talk, we used to make some projects that they will probably be done. And I know that if I didn't speak English, I couldn't have these chances, this opportunity that I'm having right now.
Mm-hmm. So you say you used to write some of your songs in English.
Yes.
How long has that been?
It's been 16 years.
16 years.
16 years.
16.
Yeah.
Do you have any of your music, let's say, published, or do you plan on publishing? Because I know most people have got projects, and they just remain as projects. Because for various reasons, some people are not able to publish.
And unfortunately, that's my case. Okay, that's my case because I had a friend who's my producer. He went to Portugal. He's living there right now, and he's the one who used to help me on broadcasting my music and taking them to the radio and television. But some of the music that I published are not in English.
Yeah. They're not in English.
I just have one called...
that went through the radio.
Through the radio, and it has a video, and it's called Out of the Grave.
Out of the Grave.
Out of the Grave.
Sounds like interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about that? What's the message behind the topic, the title?
Okay, this music.
Out of the Grave.
Out of the Grave.
Okay.
This music is about some people that are walking around left, right, left, up and down, trying to struggle for their better days, better life, okay? But spiritually, they are dead, okay? Spiritually, they are dead because they can't get what they want. They can't achieve their dreams. They are stuck. Okay, a lot of people used to walk on the streets. Okay, they can come and can love to you. They can share some time, some very good times we do on many places. But spiritually, they are dead because they can't get what they want. They have lost.
So they're in a constant quest. For their
lives, and they can't. They can't understand themselves because everything they touch dies. Everything they do goes wrong. Okay? So there are many people like that, and I have been with. Okay? So I've seen so many people like that without hope. Someone without hope is someone who's dead. I consider like that. If you don't have hope, you are a dead man.
That's a very strong message.
You are a dead man because you don't care. There is nothing you expect to find, to live, or to do because you have lost hope. And this music comes to rise up these kind of people, tell them there is a way, there's always a better way to overcome our struggles, our problems, and this music.
Our inner fight.
Yeah, our inner fight. And I'm trying to let them know there's always a chance. Wow. This is a gospel music.
Oh, it's a gospel music.
Yeah, it's a gospel music, and I talk about Jesus. Jesus is the way, is the solution. As long as we understand who's Jesus, because you can do so many things, and sometimes you just can't succeed.
Yeah, because there is some sort of a spiritual shield that is blocking you from, let's say, moving forward.
Oh, yeah, but this is not about material things.
Okay.
It's not about things we can touch.
Yeah.
We
That's
can
more of a spiritual thing.
Yeah, very spiritual things. That's the problem that many of us have been facing.
Are we gonna have like anytime soon? Because since you said some of the songs were published, some were not, but I do believe that the majority of your songs, or a huge chunk at least of that, hasn't been, let's say, brought to the public yet. Do we get a chance to listen to some of those songs that you have not yet made available to the public? Are there any plans for you to bring them to the public?
Yeah, I have some plan, and I'm trying to find. Oh, I already have someone who's going to deal with me to get in this business of taking them to the public. I have. I have more than 100 music.
You're kidding.
And I have I have 3 albums. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, really.
That's enough for how many albums?
Well, can't count because
usually how many songs are there in an album, like a typical album?
12.
12 songs.
Yeah, 12 songs.
Wow. So we're saying roughly 10 albums.
Yeah.
That's a long walk.
Yeah.
That's a long walk.
Yeah, that's a very
albums.
long work. And it was possible for me because I was lucky for not paying money to go to the studio.
Okay.
I had a studio in my house, so there was a chance.
So whenever you felt like you got inspired, you could always get into the studio and lay out, like a verse and just to do the songs.
I was lucky to have it.
Oh, I would love to. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, let's call in our next segment, which is From Blunder to Wonder. Let's have in the intro. Welcome back to From Blunder to Wonder. Twizzy, this is a segment that actually gets to celebrate those awkward moments in our, in our learning process where we tend to make some mistakes without knowing that we were making mistakes, like you were talking about, pronouncing words wrongly. Sometimes the accent, not just the accent, but the meaning of the words. We tend to use some words in a different context, like in a wrong context. But all of these without knowing until later on, as we progress in our learning process, we realize that all this long, I've been using this word in a very, very wrong way. Has that ever happened to you? Do you remember any of those instances where you used words wrongly or even pronounced them wrongly?
At the very beginning, in my relationship with the girl I told you about, I used to say pretend.
Okay.
In a very, very wrong way.
Yeah, I get that. I can get where you're going, yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
So, because I literally had the mind that that word means pretender in Portuguese. So every time
So it had nothing to do with intention.
It has nothing to do with that. It's another thing out of what I was trying to say.
I get that.
I used to say, I pretend, and it was very embarrassing to me when I found out that was not the meaning which I was talking to,
Well, most of us, have gone through lots of mistakes, especially with our let's say, especially with us being, primarily Portuguese-speaking people. Of course, most of us, we do quite well speak Portuguese.
Sure.
And that has a very, very strong influence as to when we learn English, because some of the words, they kind of look and might even sound quite similar. However, the meaning is different, completely different. Like the one you just said, pretend. Okay, so I believe it's even worse. I mean, you're saying I pretend. So the person, I mean,
What is this guy trying to say?
So all this time you've been pretending. So you were not, you were realistic about.
I got the point.
Yeah, there was no truth in whatever that you were saying.
Yeah, there was no truth there.
He was just pretending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another word, like they're not similar, but maybe in the way they are used. Would and should.
Would and should.
Yeah,
okay.
these auxiliary verbs, isn't it? Used to confuse me. I was making some confusions when I was in this process. You know, I used to say it.
But at least that wouldn't be a very terrible mistake, like the one you said before, to pretend.
Yeah.
When you actually meant to, like, intend.
Yeah, intend.
All right.
Yeah.
Well. Well, thank you so much. That was our second segment of the show. It's from blunder to wonder. Welcome back. We are in the studio, joined by Mr. Twizzy, who is a successful professional photographer. He's a video maker, music creator, or let's say a music writer, singer, and also composer, right? Music writer, composer, same thing. Let's move on with the journey, your journey in terms of speaking English, because that's really like the central point of our discussion.
Yeah.
To find out more how people manage to learn English and what sort of inspired them and such. Now, most people, throughout their learning process, tend to make mistakes. What are some of the common mistakes that you've noticed around people? Those that, you know, like almost most people would make. And what can they do to avoid making those mistakes that usually slows down their learning process?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes that I used to see on a people, I once was a teacher.
Okay.
I've been invited to be a teacher.
Wow.
And I could notice in my pupils there that the verb to be is a very big problem to some
people.
Yeah, to some people.
Would we say some people or most people?
Most of them.
Most people.
Yeah,
okay.
Most of them. That's a big problem. And the other problem which I can notice is they become shy to shout or to say whatever they want.
Okay.
And they're not my puppets. I mean, I'm talking about the puppets that I used to have. They were going to school to learn to write and everything, but they didn't practice.
They couldn't speak.
Yeah,
they couldn't practice.
Some of them could speak.
Okay.
Because they do understand, but the problem is that they do not practice, and that's a big mistake, which slows this process.
Slows down, you know, the learning process. So you think you advise people to practice more.
Yeah.
To practice more.
Yes.
I mean, they say practice makes perfect.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's not only like in English.
Yeah.
I think this applies to many other, you know, like different areas. Yeah. Without practice, there is no progress.
Yeah, there's no progress. Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, that's
now, beyond, let's say, your English learning process, in your career, as a musician, as a photographer, how has this, let's say, how has English impacted you? How has it, let's say, motivated you to continue in your creative process?
Well, right before I was a rapper, musician, whatever it is, I used to listen to Celine Dion.
Celine Dion? Did you say Celine Dion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Kelly.
R. Kelly.
You know, and inspired me to write my songs.
To write songs, yeah.
In English. You know, so for me, it helped me to more. I've been writing songs in Portuguese, even in Shangana. I have been writing them, but most of my songs, I mean, I can say 90% of my songs are written in English.
Is it?
Yeah, wow. Are written in English. So I think that's what motivated me to do music, to write music, to sing in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever think of writing songs, like composing songs to other musicians? Do you ever think of that? Or maybe have you ever,
I've been doing so.
Okay.
Yeah, I have been doing.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been doing. I did it so many times.
Okay.
Yeah, I do it so many times.
That's very good. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's absolutely impressive.
Great.
Well, we almost getting towards the end of our program, but we still have one more last segment, which is the 5 Fabs. Welcome back. This is the 5 Fabs, where we look at your 5 favorite English-related things. So I'm going to ask you one by one.
Okay.
And I want to see if you can tell me. The first one is, what is your favorite English word?
My favorite English word is come.
Is what?
Come.
Just like come?
Just come.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like interesting. I've never thought anybody could think, like
that.
Is there any special reason why this word, says a lot to you?
I think a lot. I'm someone who thinks a lot.
Okay.
And I have this passion of getting attention to the words.
Okay.
And for me, come means a lot.
It means like you opening door for things to come into your life, or
I
what?
see no difference between come and peace. Okay. Because every time someone says come, is expressing some kind of
openness.
Yeah.
To receive, to accept.
Accept, yeah.
Okay.
So
other people.
That word means a lot to me.
Wow.
When someone says come, I just get happy. Okay. Even you right there, maybe there's something you want. If someone calls you and say come, you'll be smiling.
but that could be let's say tricky.
Yeah.
Somebody could be inviting me for something not so not very good. But that's a nice one.
Yeah.
The second, your second of your 5 Fabs, your favorite. What is your favorite English phrase or idiom?
As it was in the beginning, so it shall be in the end.
That sounds more like biblical. As it was in the beginning, so it shall be in the end.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful statement.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? Everything was beautiful at the beginning.
Okay.
And when they go to when they go through this process of change and growing, there are problems within this process. And but at the end, things are changed.
Yeah.
Let me talk about God.
Okay.
God has made it beautiful in the beginning.
Okay.
And He promises that at the end everything will be okay. But all of this process, we've been facing problems, and many things around this.
Right.
Within these 2 points.
Okay.
And let's check a baby.
Okay.
When you're born, you can't do anything. Everything is done for you. Mm-hmm. But once you grow up, you start learning things, and but when you go older, you go back to the
where it started.
Yeah, like you can't walk sometimes, you can't
So
eat by yourself.
you have to rely on other people for most things,
Yes.
if not all.
Yeah, so
Okay.
for me, it's a phrase that gives me hope. Like, okay, I was once good, okay, and I believe everything that I'm facing will come to pass. I will be okay again.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The next of your favorites, what is your favorite English song?
My favorite English song, Stan
Stan.
from Eminem.
Eminem.
Yeah. Not just that song, there is Unconditional Love from Tupac.
Okay, from Tupac.
Yeah.
Wow, I know that one too.
Very good. That's a very nice song.
Very powerful song.
And there's another one, One Love from Bob Marley.
Yeah.
That's Cut Blood from Peter Tosh.
Okay.
You know, there's a very nice songs that I used to listen to.
I think being a musician, you know, I mean, I do not doubt that you've got. If I don't stop you, I think we'll drag this whole conversation in terms of your favorite songs here and there and there.
Yeah,
I get that. But Stan is a very, very iconic song.
Yeah,
that's a very nice one. And the final of your favorites, what is your favorite English accent? Because some people talk about accent, they say, no, they like the British, they like the Americans, they like the Australian. What about you? What is your favorite English accent?
Well, my favorite...
Or maybe African one?
My favorite is British.
British.
But I can say that I can't speak like they do.
Okay.
Because my influence comes from South America. And yeah, it's America. That's the way I think I follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite English accent is actually the British too.
Yeah.
But I would prefer to listen to an Indian speaking English.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, it's hard to understand him.
I just enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I don't know.
The pronunciation drill?
I think somehow the way how, because I think it has got a very strong influence to with their local languages.
Okay. Yeah. That's it.
So
that's
for me, it just sounds very, very interesting when they speak, and it's quite inspiring for me when they.
When they speak.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Voila.
That's cool.
Well, Twizzy.
Yes.
Twizzy. Am I correct?
Yeah.
That was an honor to have you on board, and thank you so much for coming. You've made quite of an impact in our show. I hope that your experience might resonate with people out there, and that are also at some point in their life they've been struggling. Some of them are probably struggling until now to speak English, but you have somehow made it clear that if you have a goal to accomplish or to achieve, just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And like you said, practice makes perfect. Just keep on practicing and practicing and practicing. Any final words before we close up?
Well, I'd like to thank you for inviting me into this very, very interesting show. It shows not only the conversation that we take, but it gives opportunity to share our journey in this English process, in the learning process. So I'm happy to be here. I hope someday I come back and I'll be watching this every time you call someone to this show, because I'll be learning and my mindset will be growing up on it. So thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm grateful.
And make sure when your music is available, please come back and tell us.
Okay, I'll do so.
We would really love to get access to those.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, thank you so much. So that was our time with Mr. Twizzy, who is a professional photographer, video maker, songwriter, and a singer. Well, to our viewers out there, just remember that education is a collective effort. Whether you are a teacher, you are a parent, you are a policymaker, just remember that your voice and actions count. Together, we can transform the way how education is conducted in Mozambique. Now, if you've loved this show, don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. for more future episodes of Chat Desk Unplugged with me, Tim Alfredo, right here on Mindcast TV. Goodbye. Stay safe and keep learning.